This is my watercolor palette, and I'm going to show you how I set it up, and I'm going to show you what watercolor palette I bought and why I liked it. This is a 48 pan watercolor tray, which gives me tons of options to be able to buy more paint, because I like buying more paints whenever I see a pretty color. And it has 48 little pans. Each of these are a little pan insert. There's tons of options for me to be able to move them around, because each one of these are removable. I kind of set it up alongside the color wheel with a few things that are probably out of place, like the earth tones. And I really like it that way. And it's a really good idea once you've set up your watercolor palette or even other acrylic or oil palette to always set it up the same way, so you're always going to the same spot for the same colors. Now, obviously I haven't cleaned this up since the last time that I used it. It still has tons of, and it's all dried on right now, watercolors. And I've left them there because these colors I like using when I do florals and things like that. And the next time I come along, I can just, add a little bit of water and then it re-wets it, and then I can still use it. Now, I picked this watercolor palette because, one, like I said before, tons of spots to add more paint, but it also has tons of mixing spaces. And this tray with all the paint actually comes out, and there's even more mixing spots underneath. I don't use these bottom ones too often, but when I'm really mixing a lot of different colors, then I will pull this out and use this tray. The two side flaps, they're really nice because they're at a slight angle, so you can, the water will kind of move down to the end, and you can have some paint that's a little stronger up at the top, and it's the same on this side as well. You just need to make sure you don't add too much water, especially on this side, or else it'll just get really messy. This one's also nice because you can actually travel with this. This is my at-home tray, so it has all my colors, but I can travel with it if I want to take all my colors with me, and it actually has a little spot for you to put your paintbrush, which is really, really handy. The other thing that I use with this, and not everybody does, is I use the tube watercolors. You can see a lot of these colors I've used quite a bit, and I can just add some as I need them. You can see I've recently added some of the yellow, and I'm going to add some of the Queen Violet. And that's just right here. And it's really, really simple. You just add a little bit. And what I do to make it a little easier the next time I actually go to paint, if I'm refilling them not while I'm painting, I will actually just wet my finger and just put a little divot there so that this can dry, and it'll have a little divot so that when you add some water, that's where your water can kind of collect and soften and re-wet the actual watercolors. And if I've added some watercolors during that session, I will leave this open for 2 or 3 days just so that they can get a little bit firmer and I don't have to worry about things, moving if I transport them anywhere. Overall, I really like this watercolor palette, and I really like how you can pack it up. If you still have wet paint in any of these wells, you can just wipe it up with a paper towel. It comes really, really clean. It'll be nice and white. It's just a little dirty right now because I haven't fully cleaned it. I want to reuse some of the paint that's in the mixing wells, and you can fold it right up and take it with you wherever you want to go.